How you been? Good.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Just so everybody knows, City Attorney Isaac Rosen is, we're having issues with Zoom, so he's patched in via his phone through the AV system, so he's able to hear you and he can speak to us over the chamber speakers, so just so you guys know, so all's good.
He's on the intercom phone?
Yep.
And it's working? Okay, good.
Yep.
Yep. Hi, everyone.
Oh, there he is. Hi, Isaac.
This one's mine. Yours is right
How are you?
there.
Pretty good.
The wheels are
You're
falling
gonna
off
have
these
to
chairs.
repeat yourself further than these two.
So should I say
What is going on here? Freezing. Came early because
Can I hit you now?
I understood last night from the council meeting that we had these that we could get to stick on.
Oh, you got some? Oh, God.
Well, I've got a neighbor, he's, not here, and I've got. So Callie, and just go for I wanted to get those.
Are we continuing these? I was a little confused on, are we continuing them to February planning commission meeting, or are we voting on them?
this one we're
But not from February.
we're continuing them to March.
Yeah, I think that is we were recommending to continue to
So
February,
all
but we decided we needed more time to,
So to March instead of this. All three. Okay. Because I have to do two of them, right? Or can we just do all of them at the same time? Because we're continuing. We do it at the same time.
so we'll make an announcement before the, continuations, but we were intending to do it all at the same time, unless somebody wants to pull them out
Well, he has to pull out, like he has to recuse, right, because of the,
for all three.
Well, you
No.
have recused from two from him.
two of them.
And then you've got one that's on the CUP for 335 McKinney Road that I just listed names.
But if
on
we're
the
being
form set.
continued, we have a question for.
You do have to open the public hearing, so you.
Yeah. I would think if we're gonna continue, it's not a problem, so we'll vote on it. It's a problem.
Yeah, so we can still do them all three of them at the same time, if you just wanna abstain from all three of them, or you could just abstain from the one, and then we can come back and do it.
Can I just go out for all three of them, make it easier, right?
Two of them.
Yep.
We start? Okay. Let's, open, the meeting, let's, pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, Bart.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
All right, and after oral communication before consent calendar, staff just wanted to request that item 1 of consent calendar, the minutes from December 7th, be voted on separately from items number 2 and 3 due to commissioner absences and needs to abstain.
Susanna,
we
can
need
I
roll
ask
call.
you, following along by phone, did we have a roll call vote?
I was just making an announcement.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Chair Glass,
Here?
Chair Vice Chairman Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Kinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hewitt. Commissioner Say is absent. Commissioner Putnam,
Here.
Commissioner Romero,
Present. Oops, sorry guys.
You're good.
Yours works. Okay. So, item number 1. Susanna, that's the one we're gonna,
So we'd like to vote on the consent calendar, item number 1 separately from items number 2 and 3. Anybody is welcome to make a motion for just item number 1.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I second.
Sorry, Jamie.
aye?
Abstain?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Abstain?
And Commissioner Ruth?
Aye.
Okay,
And just for the record, those were the minutes of December 7th, 2022.
yes, right, my bad.
Right.
Yes,
And all, sorry to keep jumping in, just for my benefit, would staff just mind saying at the end of the vote, just the vote total? So it sounded like, was that how many people voted on that motion and how many
it was
abstentions did we
4
have?
yes, Isaac, and it was 2 abstained, is that correct?
Okay, wonderful, thank you.
Okay. Next items are the 2 from the consent calendar. Entertain a motion to approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to approve both resolutions 2248 and 2230 as recommended.
Okay, second.
I will second.
Bob, call for a vote. Aye?
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Putnam?
Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Aye.
Commissioner Ruth? So that's a 6 vote with 2 absent, Isaac.
Thank you, Donna.
Okay, our next item is number 4. Application for a site plan at 345 Eucalyptus.
All right, before I launch into the staff report, I did want to clarify and apologize for an administrative error in the agenda. The first line should match the project description in the staff report, which is an application for a site plan for the interior remodel of an existing single-family dwelling, converting living space to a bedroom in the HDR flat zone. So to clarify, the scope of work is limited to the internal reconfiguration of existing space, requiring only site plan approval. There's no change in square footage. The applicant is Fine Line, and the project site is located at 345 Eucalyptus Avenue in the flats within the high-density residential zoning. This project has gone through previous approvals and is currently developed. And upon the issuance of a water allocation from Edison, they would like to add a bedroom within the existing footprint of the living room. So they're converting a section of that living space into a bedroom using partition walls. The project is exempt from SEQA, and we have received confirmation from SCE authorizing the scope of work. Our recommendations are to find the project categorically exempt, find the application exempt from a coastal development permit, and make the determination that the project is not within the 300-foot appealable zone, and to approve the site plan as proposed with all applicable entitlements incorporated, as well as finding the application allowed under the 2023 growth policy, and furthermore recommending the adoption of resolution number 2303.
Okay. Any discussion before we open the public hearing on this one?
Question for staff. This has been before us before, and we approved it, right?
this particular site.
Yeah.
Oh, this one.
The previous approvals from this site are on page 2. It went to Planning Commission in 2016, and that was when the existing structure was approved. We had 2 similar Fine Line projects in the last couple of months where they subdivided bedrooms
Maybe I'm confusing this with something
to make
else.
2. But those were splitting existing bedrooms, and this one is creating a new bedroom within the living room.
Okay.
And I misspoke, this is not a public hearing. This is not one open to the public, so.
Susanna, if the site plan was approved previously and they were just waiting for water,
Yes.
Yes.
then
So they-
we're just approving, or not approving, whatever, because of the water. We had already approved that they could do the bedroom if the water came, correct?
That's what we're considering right now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have an effect on the overall density, the typical kind of development standards that we usually look for conformity. We would just have to make the determination that it complies with all the findings required for a site plan, because they're adding a bedroom.
And I think that was, they just didn't have the water to do it at the time that they originally set it up.
Correct.
For that many bedrooms.
That was the intent of the
And so now
design.
they now have the water, and basically they're turning that space into an actual bedroom.
But there still will be existing living room space
Yeah.
left over to be utilized as
Yeah.
a living room.
Okay.
Anybody else got something on this one? Basically, what I saw is this has been held over because they didn't have water. Now that they have water, I don't see why we wouldn't.
So it's been approved.
So the only construction associated with this
Is this?
application that's coming to us today are the 2 partition walls that are outlined in red on page 2. So that's the existing layout. Right now, it's completely open. And then they want to partition off this.
Put in French doors there, it looks like, and into the bedroom, correct?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand why this gets triggered for a project that has to go before planning. You know, it's not,
Is it just because of water?
yeah, but the water doesn't matter.
For the requirements of a site plan approval by you guys, I think there are
Yeah, the guidelines
6
is,
different
is the-
triggers for it.
and it's the intensity of the remodel.
For the site plan, there are actually, I think there are 6 different triggers for it, and one of them is if you add a bedroom or a kitchen. Anything that adds a bedroom or a kitchen has to be approved by you guys.
But I thought this was already approved.
But they're adding a bedroom. This was approved as a 3-bedroom. So now that they're getting the 4th bedroom, that
We have to
triggers the
approve
site
that.
plan approval by you guys.
I thought it was approved.
And they would have
were
liked
just
to have
waiting
done the
for water.
4-bedroom from the get-go, but they didn't have the water to do it. Now Edison just started giving out water again, they got it, and now they want to turn that space that they left as living area.
Right, and where my head was going is that, you know, this is putting in 2 walls, it's not a huge construction project, it's, you know, certainly
Yeah.
less than 25% of the overall footprint of what they're doing, so anyway, regardless,
But it's the fact that it's a bedroom or a bath.
right. Right.
I know you guys recently revisited the triggers for site plan approvals, and some of those were removed. So we can always, look at
Yeah,
those
right.
at a later date.
Right, okay.
Anybody want to make a motion or any further discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve this item as presented.
I second.
Anyone else want to say anything before we go for a vote?
Chairman Glass,
Yes?
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero,
Aye.
and Commissioner Ruth.
Yes.
And Isaac, that's 6 ayes and 2 absent.
Thank you, Don.
Now, this next one, Susanna, where we have the public hearing, and 2 of these are on 2 are at properties at Hamilton Cove, which I was abstained for. And the third one is on Clarissa, which I can vote on. Should I just, I guess this question's maybe for Isaac. Should we just, should I just abstain and do 2 and 1 and I just abstain from it? I don't think I have to leave the room.
These are general business, so we're doing these individually, correct? So,
Yes, so I would say, Chair, because the Hamilton Cove items, there's a recommendation from staff to have those continued. So I think it's sufficient for you to just state your conflict on the record, and then staff will open the public hearing, and you can just depart momentarily, and then barring any public hearing, you would just abstain from voting on the motion to continue the item.
So Isaac, correct me if I misunderstood, but Bart is going to leave the room and then the vice chair will open the public hearing, and barring no negative comments, Bart will return and simply abstain from the vote?
I think it would be best if Bart just abstains and leaves the dais momentarily for the opening of the public hearing, and then the vote with the remainder of the commission to continue those transient rental revocations.
And then
Okay.
I come back in after that, sounds like.
Yes.
So I'm abstaining, for the record, I'm abstaining because I live too close to these properties. So I will let Secretary, there you go.
So Isaac, really quick, not to interrupt, can we move forward with one motion for all 3 of these, or did you want to separate it into 2 and 1?
I think you can open the public hearing. You could do a consolidated public hearing. So since staff's recommendation is to continue all 3, I would say whoever is serving as acting chair, Susanna, you can explain the intent to open and then continue all 3 to a date certain, take public comment, and then I'm comfortable that the commission can take a single motion on that proposed continuance for all 3.
So we're going to recommend that the commission open the public hearing on items 5, 6, and 7 and continue all 3 items until the regularly scheduled meeting to be held not on February but on March 22nd, 2023 at 5 p.m. to allow for further coordination between the property owners and the finance department.
Okay, so we're going to open up the public hearing. Do we have any public comment on any of those continuations or any of those, CUPs? No? So we'll close the public hearing.
Oh, sorry, acting chair, just a minor point of clarification. We'd actually leave the public hearing open since it's been open, and then while it's open, we can take the motion for the continuance.
Oh, okay, so that, open it up again. No public comment. Would anyone like to make a motion to continue all 3 of these until the March?
I will so move.
Yes. I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero,
Aye.
Commissioner Ruth. Yes. Okay, Isaac, that's 5 ayes and 3 abstain, or 2 absent, 1 abstain.
So the
Perfect,
motion,
thank you, Donna.
so the motion passed, and so then I close the public hearing,
No, leave it open.
or leave it open? Oh, leave it open
Yep.
because it's for 2 months. Gotcha. Okay. So should we get Bart?
Yes.
So the third one?
No, we did all 3.
Okay, great. All right. I guess we have number 8. Variance site plan?
All right, number 8 of the public hearing is an application for the modification of a front setback variance and site plan approval for improvements to an existing single-family dwelling in the HDR flat zone. The applicant is Straight Up Builders, and the project site is at 327 Eucalyptus Avenue. The property was previously granted a variance in order to exceed the front setback requirement when they enclosed an existing front porch. This application proposes to modify that front setback variance in order to accommodate the installation of a new bay window. The only change to the front yard configuration posed by this project is the addition of a 28 square foot bay window on the first floor, almost directly abutting the property line. So while part of the structure already occupies that front setback, they will be adding on page 3, we have a rendering of approximately the area and location of what the bay window would occupy in that front yard. So staff is recommending approval of this variance. Considers it exempt from CEQA. We recommend that you approve the site plan as proposed. Adopt the findings of modification for the setback variance, and adopt resolution 2303.
Okay. Any questions of staff before we open the public hearing? On this one? Okay. We'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this matter, come on up and state your name and address. And doesn't look like anyone wants to speak. Close the public hearing. This looks pretty simple. Adds a little volume to the room, but no place you're gonna actually use, other than being a bay window. Anyone wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve per staff recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, take a vote. Chairman Glass?
Yes?
Chairman Smith?
Yes.
Sorry. Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes?
Commissioner Putnam?
Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Aye.
Commissioner Ruth? Yes. Okay, Isaac, again, that's 6 ayes and 2 absent.
Thank you, Donna.
Okay, Isaac, this next item, this transient rental license, I was actually the listing broker selling this property, and I know he's on my Form 700, so I'm gonna step out and we'll let the vice chair take over.
Wonderful. Thanks, Bart. And yep, I think the exit and go to the back room is perfect.
Okay, item number 9 is requesting a transient rental license and coastal development permit to allow the renting or leasing of a room with or without table boards in a dwelling unit for periods of fewer than 30 consecutive days at 335 Wrigley Road. The owner and applicant is Eric Albert, and he's represented by Karina of CIVR. The property is located within the medium-density residential zone. The property contains 4 bedrooms and 4.5 baths, and is developed with residential use consistent with the general plan and is allowed under the 2023 growth policy. The property is a duplex. The property manager for the unit is listed as Catalina Island Vacation Rentals, and their contact information is in your staff report. The subject property and all surrounding properties are developed with single and multifamily residential units. The requested transient rental license does not involve any physical changes to the existing residence that would adversely affect or be material detrimental to adjacent uses, buildings, and structures. The saturation map attached in the staff report indicates that oversaturation will not occur. The proposed project is categorically exempt under Section 15305 of the state CEQA guidelines, with minor alterations and land use limitations. which do not result in changes in land use or density. The project requires a coastal development permit under section 9-8.102 of the Avalon Municipal Code, and the project is within the 300-foot appealable zone. City staff have not received any comments in favor or in opposition of the transient rental license. Staff is recommending the Planning Commission find the project categorically exempt under section 15305 of the state CEQA guidelines, minor alterations in land use limitations, adopt the findings necessary as outlined in the staff report to support approval of the coastal development permit, including that the project is within the 300-foot appealable zone, and find the application is allowed under the 2023 annual growth policy. That's it.
Okay, any questions for staff before I open the hearing? No? Okay, open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this matter? State your name and address, please.
Corina, Catalina Island Vacation Rentals, for the management company. Just want to point out to the size and the real estate value. I think it was listed for over $4 million, and I just think that a property in that price range, being a rental, can create such income for, bringing on more housekeepers, and just in general, the economic possibilities it would offer for the town. Would certainly not be a viable solution for year-round rentals, considering its size and real estate value. This owner, actually, his father used to own it years ago and sold it, and now the son came back, and they are very invested in the community and keeping a property here for vacation and for family use. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you. Anybody else? Close the public hearing. Any discussion or motion?
I'll make a motion to approve this application with the 5 staff findings.
Okay. Anybody second?
I second.
Okay. Call for a vote?
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes?
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero,
Aye.
Commissioner Ruth. Okay, Isaac, that's 5 ayes, 1 abstain, and 2 absent.
Thanks, Donna.
I'll get it this time.
Hey, Bart, you're being lazy.
Okay. So that was
That was 9.
9. That was the last of it. Any announcements or?
Yes, I have one announcement for you, Commissioners, from Ms. Morones. She wants to remind the Commissioners to file their forms number 700 by April 1st, and you can pick up those forms at her office.
We can do it online, though, too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
yes.
Anything else from any commissioners?
Bart,
Yeah.
the first item on the agenda, oral communications, you never asked anybody in the audience if they had any business before us.
Absolutely right. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak tonight? I like the double head shake. Thank you. Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome, man. And the only question I have actually is for staff. Are we making progress on working with Hamilton Board and trying to come up with some rules on how we're going to oversee the complaints we've had out there?
I can let you know, I have a meeting scheduled with a number of people that were in the audience for the last couple of your meetings. We have a group of them coming in for discussion on those very issues, yes.
Perfect. If you
Yep.
need any help, holler at me.
Appreciate it, thank you.
That's it for me.
That's Sandy?
I just want to say, this last week, there's been another flurry on Facebook of what are the problems. The Islander actually asked, what do we think not us, the locals, think about the biggest problems. And obviously the consensus was housing, and we need to get rid of vacation rentals. We need to, or we don't need to, but it would be nice if we sort of put something out to let people know there's only about 300 of them, and 150 almost at Hamilton, and another 60 some at Bay Vista. So in Avalon, legal vacation rentals, that's it, so that's not the biggest problem. I mean, there's a lot of under the table rentals, and there's ways to manipulate things. You can rent for 30 days and not need a license. And, people can come and go. I mean, it can be manipulated. And even the ADUs don't really help when we're talking about people looking for their, quote, forever home, and they want to stay here. Well, ADUs, you only have to rent for 6 months. And, you could rent longer, but that doesn't mean somebody's going to do that. In 6 months, you could rent it to 6 different people for a month, rent it to people doing construction or something over here for a few months. But I think it would be nice if we all don't get stopped and said, you got to get rid of vacation rentals. It's the problem's different and bigger and less than, and here we are, we're revoking them, or we're calling people in, and they can either resolve it or revoke it. But I think that if we took a positive action to say, there's a lot more ramifications to this, but getting rid of the vacation rentals in Avalon is not going to give everybody housing. Not islanders who are actually trying to live here forever, or even a few years.
Yeah,
That's all.
I know, as far as if you're a landlord, if you've had these properties for years and years, you could rent it out, and it would make sense to you. You could keep the rent low enough that you'd get locals, but if you just bought it, there's no way.
Yeah.
You'd just be upside
Well,
down.
the overall, in my history on the island, the overall number of vacation rental permits that have been issued by the city has not changed dramatically.
No.
It may go up a couple, it goes down a couple, it goes back up a couple. But one of the things that we don't have a tally on, how many homes are actually occupied here without a vacation, or owned here as a second home without a vacation rental permit? So that number is large too. What we factually have is the lack of housing for what has now developed to be a year-round economy.
That's it. I mean,
it.
it used to be 3 months. I mean,
Right.
when the steamers started or stopped, a lot of people just left town. There were a lot of vacant houses. And then now we're lengthening the season. We've got the cruise ships. So we're getting more. Businesses used to stay open no more than 5 months a year. Because there was nobody here in the winter. And now we're a victim of our own success. We've got a lot more people coming and what
lot more
have you.
often.
So
Yeah.
it's enticing for people. And yeah, economically, if you buy something and the prices are crazy, a lot of places, but we've built up business. We've got a longer season. We've got more things to see and do and this and that, but we don't have the economy where you can say, well, working people just have to move down the road 5 miles.
You can't afford to commute.
You can't.
Well, yeah, where you could hop in a car and drive 3
And
cities away and stay.
it has been broached that people could come over daily to work. They had the teachers doing it. Now they're trying to let the teachers live here again. In fact, it used to be that teachers would rent in the winter, and then people would either occupy their own properties in the summer or do a vacation rental in the summers, but teachers would live here because the demand for short-term rentals wasn't there.
And the locals that are looking now are not looking for a 6-month lease. They're looking for a
That's what I
place
mean,
that they
yeah,
can park for a year or 2
well,
or 3.
that's the new
Yeah.
phrase. I mean, you see that more and more. We're looking for a forever home.
Yeah.
And it's, so that is the problem. Vacation rentals, trying to get rid of less than 100 vacation rentals is not gonna, change. The town's changing, the economy's changing, and it's much more complicated. But at least we could say that the city isn't trying to, we're not creating the problem with just the perception. We'll leave it with Hamilton. Hamilton wants the city to do more to take care of them, so.
Anything else? Thank you,
I
Sandy.
just wanted to thank you for bringing that up, and I'm not sure how much substantive discussion we can have right now, but I wanted to assure you it's definitely going to be an agendized item sometime soon, now that the transient rental ordinance is going to sunset. I can't remember the phrase for that, but it's going to expire, so we're going to bring it back to the commission, and I think that'd be a great opportunity to bring up all these concerns.
Well, yeah, because also to do it this time of year, when you get, the closer we get to the season, the less appetite there is to, and the less opportunity to even think about some sort of solutions.
Okay, anybody got anything else? Say goodnight, Tony.
Good night, Tony.
Good night, Tony.
I've got a solution to the housing problem, Bart.